these things. And we'll get into that too. All right, but anyway, everybody, P-wave, Mobitz 2. Now, I do have down here, R to R is not regular, Mobitz 2. May be the warning of an impending cardiac arrest. This is serious stuff right here. Impending cardiac arrest. Also, use of a pacemaker may be required on these patients. The pacemaker may be required. So this is the thing on the Mobitz 2, so I wanted you to kind of be aware of that one. Right there. Third degree is a complete heart block. No atrial, in other words, this right here, look, here's the thing that's always puzzled me about the third degree. Here's the third degree, and it don't look that bad, as they say in the woods. Here's the third degree right here. And again, it doesn't look that bad. That's third degree up there. Now in this one, everybody, the atria are doing their thing, and the ventricles are doing their thing, and they're not in sync. Okay, so cool. So, okay, okay. What about it? So what? Okay. How do I recognize it? Here's the way you recognize it. All right, look at this. Did you do that to me? No. All right, okay, now look, everybody, look. How do I recognize it? Okay, here's the deal. There are 2 or 3 little things that you need to recognize. First of all, the relationship of the P wave to the QRS is irregular. Now follow me. The relationship of the P to the QRS, it might be normal, long, short, shorter, long, irregular. Secondly, in this thing right here, R to R is regular. R to R is regular. And I have right here, but see, on paper, remember how I talk about that sometimes? That my guy's bank account may look good on paper, but really ain't got any money in the bank. On paper, it doesn't look all that bad. It doesn't look all that bad on paper for me. And I'm not and I will also tell you all this, there are whole courses on EKGs. And you're going to learn enough just to know, just to get around just a little bit. But EKG studies are very complicated. I've got a book on EKG. I mean, I don't know anything about EKGs compared to what's out there on EKGs. It is really great, because that's not my field, electrocardiography. Okay, but it's very, very complicated with the different EKG situations. But on the third degree heart block, everybody, on the third degree, complete, no heart has regular atrial activity, regular ventricular activity, but the activities are not coordinated. The atria might be doing this, the ventricle atria this, ventricles this, whatever. They're not coordinated. And they will tell you right here, atrial rate may be 60 to 80, while the ventricular may be 40. And I go in and say down here, life-threatening. May acutely compromise CO. Cardiac output, everybody, is the amount of blood ejected from the ventricle with each systole of that ventricle. Now, and we'll tell you how you calculate that later. That's cardiac output. Okay, and your cardiac output's got to be up there. That heart's got to be pushing blood out. You know, it's got to be getting blood out of there. All right, so there's the third degree right there. And then we just have right here, no P waves that are followed by QRS are not necessarily in the normal position. Some will be elongated and so forth, but R to R is always regular. In other words, the PR interval might be normal, longer, short, long. You know, they don't go this normal, longer, blah, blah, drop. They may be normal, long, shorter, whatever. And it goes ahead and says, but R to R is always regular. Now, those are some things you're going to need to highlight a little bit and be able to kind of, on our level, on EKGs, kind of hang with how do you tell the difference between one and the other. All right, so there it is. Now, the importance of an EKG, diagnosing abnormal cardiac rhythms, diagnosing abnormal conduction patterns, detect the presence of fetal life. It will do that. All right, preliminary diagnosis of coronary artery disease. This is what I had. Preliminary diagnosis of I had coronary artery disease. Yeah, right. Coronary CAD, coronary artery disease. And how was it diagnosed? How was the preliminary diagnosis done? Stress EKG. That's how it was done. Okay? And ever since 1997, I have been going to St. Luke's once a year, St. Luke's Towers, for an EKG and for a checkup and a talk with Dr. Leachman. Yeah, and a talk with him. All right, and then going over stuff. Okay? All right, so there is preliminary. All right, the stress EKG with the Chinese cardiologist, it showed whatever his name, whoever he was, it showed a little abnormal EKG, and it threw a red flag up. Okay? Now, how was it diagnosed then? With an angiogram. How was it diagnosed? Cardiac catheterization. Okay? In other words, going through the leg, inserting dye going through the heart, doing an X-ray. The X-ray showed the blockage, showed where there was blockage. Yeah, showed it up. Can't do a stent because there's calcification. Got to do some bypass. No big deal. People live, keep it hey. The person does, if they're not like old buddy Fred Ellison, who I really liked old Fred. Truck driver, I told the guy that drove the truck, I told you about Fred. If a person's not like Fred and do what they're supposed to do, people with bypass surgery live to be 100. I mean, it doesn't mean your life's going to be sharp. Doesn't mean you can't do what's normal, as long as you do what you're supposed to do. My situation, though, I tell you, it was genetic. Genetic and being around secondhand smoke. I guarantee you that's what it was. I guarantee you that's what it was. Being around secondhand smoke as a child. Yeah. All right, and you know, a kid can't, you have no control over anything like that, right, Jamie? None. Zero. Okay? All right, now right here, my dad smoked. He lived to be, he did not smoke, he quit smoking before he was 25. I asked him about that. He said, I tried that. Yeah, I'm going for me. I quit. Quit that. Quit it. And he lived to be, the accident, he was 81. Yeah. All right, so but anyway, okay, now right here, everybody, cardiac cycle. Now right here, we're just going to kind of go over the cardiac cycle. We're going to go over the cardiac cycle right here. Well, the cardiac cycle. Systole and diastole of both atria, systole and diastole of both ventricles. Okay. And the normal time for a cardiac cycle is about 0.8 of a second. That is a cardiac cycle. That is the cycle, everybody. All right, now right here, coming on down. All right, systole is contraction, diastole is relax. Oh yeah, by the way, that's another thing. How many of you, do any of you have a blood pressure stuff at home, like like maybe you bought from Walgreens? All right, you have one of those, something, a good one, we've got some manual ones I'll show you how to do. I'll bring mine. We are going to do blood pressures in class. Everybody's going to get everybody's blood pressure. And I'm going to teach you how to do blood pressures. Now, you can do them manually. Now, at the doctor's office, like they do them usually manually. Now, if you have one of those automatic ones like I do, like I can take mine over to Deer Park Clinic periodically, and I'll check it against their manual ones. I have one of the girls that takes my blood pressure with manually, and then I put my thing on there, or she puts it on there, and checks it with that, and you can make sure they're in sync. Okay? So we're going to bring some blood pressure apparatus, and we're going to get some blood pressures in here. All right, and see how your blood pressures are. Okay? All right, so be thinking about it. So you'll be thinking about it, so your blood pressure might go up. Okay? All right. All right, now then, diastole. Okay. Both atria, systole, and diastole, both ventricles. There it is, right there. The time required is about 0.8 of a second. That's for a cardiac cycle. All right, now right here, everybody. Phases of, okay, now look, y'all. Basically, you don't have to memorize the times. Okay, look, y'all. Here's basically how this goes. If the atria, you're not going to have to diagram this in class. But if the atria are in systole, what are they doing? Are they relaxing or contracting? They're contracting. If the atria are in systole, the ventricles are in diastole, and the atrioventricular valves AV valves are open. Why are they open? Because blood is flowing into the ventricles, right? What are the AV valves? Mitral, tricuspid, and mitral. That's the AV valves. So the atria do like this. Now I'm just going to tell it to you. Hell, I'm not going to read that stuff. I'm just going to tell it to you. Okay, look. The atria and systole. Ventricles are doing this. All right, now then, that last, it tells you how many seconds. It says about 0.1 of a second. Atrial systole. Look at that. The atria contract and blood is forced through the open bicuspid and tricuspid valves. Okay, now look. Now then, basically what's going to happen, the ventricles then are going to start in systole. Like that. As the ventricles start systole, immediately when they start, immediately, and the atria start like this. My left hand's atria, my right hand is ventricle. Atria start like this. Immediately when that starts, there's this. That's the first heart sound. That first heart sound is due to the snapping shut of the AV valve. Rather than say tricuspid mitral, I'll say AV, atrioventricular. They snap shut. That's the first heart sound. All right, now look. Now then, when that first starts, and those valves shut, the semilunar valves are still shut. Semilunar valves are still shut. But now this pressure, as these ventricles continue to contract, the pressure in those ventricles is going to exceed the pressure in the pulmonary artery and the aorta, and the semilunar valves go like this. And when they go like that, blood rushes into the pulmonary artery and the aorta. Continues. Now, we do that, blood is rushed out. Now we start this. All right, we start this. All right, when we start this, then there's a period there where all the valves are shut. Then as it continues this, when the pressure in here gets less than the pressure in the arteries, that's pulmonary artery and aorta, we hear this. We go. The first sound was, the second sound is the snapping shut of the semilunar. We have that. That's the heartbeat. That first one, that's the AV valves. The lesser one, that second one, is the snapping shut of the semilunar valves when the blood pressure in the pulmonary artery and the aorta exceeds that in the relaxing ventricles. That pressure exceeds, those valves shut. Those valves shut. Then as those valves are shut, now these atria start like this. As they start, the atrioventricular valves open again. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's common sensey. It's really if you think about it, it's really kind of common sense.